And thanks for coming over to the P2P live area. And today we're really pleased to be joined by Will Craven from TradeShift. Hello, Will.
Hello, Ellen. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. And so we're just going to grab a few minutes of your time today, Will, to talk about the P2P Transformation Summit, which is coming up in 3 weeks. So it's just coming up very, very shortly now. And we're really happy at PPN that TradeShift is our headline partner again this year. I think it's possibly even the fourth year that you've been our headline partner. From your perspective, what is it that you find most interesting or attractive about the event?
I think primarily it's one of those rare opportunities for us to stop and listen. And I think so much of the day to day, certainly within TradeShift, that we spend focusing on functional requirements, and we focus on kind of P2P outputs and outcomes, and it can lead to quite a myopic view. So having a summit with everyone there provides us with an environment where people can bring ideas and challenges and collaborate, and gives us the chance to listen and to widen that scope of view out. So very much looking forward to having that level of discussion with everyone.
Yeah, and it's great to be doing that in person again, to have those that level of conversation that you're talking about just there. And you're, of course, going to be introducing our opening keynote, Deborah Searle,
Indeed.
MBE. Really looking forward to hearing her conversation. Such an inspirational person and character, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's I had actually heard of Deborah from rowing circles. I was aware, but I hadn't heard the story in full. And I think
Mm.
it's not just what she achieved, but how she achieved it as well, right? And when you look at what she went through, the attributes of her resilience, her determination and sheer grit, those are all attributes I think we talk about being able to port into the workspace, and certainly over the last 2 years, the same attributes we've seen displayed across P2P teams everywhere, with everything they've had to go through. So I think there'll be a number of key learnings for everyone from her keynote. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you're so right. In fact, I had a conversation with her. In fact, it was yesterday, and we were just talking about the event and the run up to it and everything. And it's those kind of strategies which you just talked about there that she's so fantastic at bringing out and having that real first-hand experience. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, none of us very, very unlikely to be in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but it's amazing how you can draw those experiences that she's had and bring them to play in our own lives. And she's got some fascinating stories to tell. So I can't wait to hear it, and it'd be great to have your introduction to her to do that. So, I mean, aside from the three key keynote speakers that we have, we've got a whole range of other sessions as well.
Mhm.
We've got presentations about hyper automation and some workshop sessions as well, including Build a Bot, which I'm looking forward to as well. Build your own RPA robot. So what sessions really catch your eye about the agenda?
It's a bit like a buffet. What I want it all, right? I want it all on my plate, right? So no, I think it's hard to pick out one specifically, but what I think there's one theme that I see kind of recurring through a lot of the sessions, which I think absolutely is of interest, and that's around human impact. And a lot of the time, the conversations around P2P is around the functional, and particularly when we talk about automation. But as we have the saying that don't forget behind every transaction there's a human being, and particularly when we have those discussions around automation, how we manage the tension between technology and the human being, between corporate outcomes and personal needs. So I'm really pleased to see that a lot of the sessions are going to have that kind of element woven into it, and how in the P2P space we don't lose sight of the fact that there are human beings behind this, and be mindful of it.
I'm really glad that you've picked up on that, actually, Will, because that's a theme that we have got running through the day. And I think, as you say, it's really important to focus on that and not just on the technology, as you say, because as you know from the implementations that you've been in charge of, or around the teams that are doing that, without having that personal interaction, it's so hard to actually get people to make use of it or properly understand it. And I think that's the key, isn't it? Once you understand the reasons why you're doing something and how it impacts you personally and you as a team, then it's much easier to go through with that. So I'm glad you picked up on that. So yeah, and the buffet as well. The lunch is something not to be missed.
Yes, the Great British Barbecue. I mean,
fantastic. Yeah, strawberries and cream on the terrace too. What could be more British summer than that? Um, so, and you talk about the people element. Of course, over the last couple of years or 3 years even, we've not been able to have that in-person experience. Is that something you're looking forward to getting back into?
words cannot express just how much it's going to be great to get back together again. Yeah, and we know it has been challenging, so it's been a long time coming. And referring back to the first point around, what I'm looking forward to from the day, that having that physical get together is so much more conducive to an environment where you can bounce ideas off one another and get a feel for what's important for P2P teams at the moment, not just be reacting to a person-to-person set of requirements. And the fact that the Hurlingham Club is the icing on the cake, really. I would have been happy with the Travelodge outside Basingstoke. As it's such a landmark location, it's going to be a great day.
Oh, fantastic. We're very much looking forward to it. I was speaking to a couple of other speakers that we have for the panel sessions this morning, and they can't wait as well to have those in-person conversations like you're talking about now, and really finding out what's going on in those P2P teams, as you say. And finally, you are partnering with us on the P2P Team of the Year award, which is great. Thanks very much for doing that and supporting the industry as you do. What is it that TradeShift thinks about? I mean, what do they feel is important to support the teams in this way?
I think, well, both from a professional and a personal level, right? When you spend a lot of time around with P2P teams, that the function as a whole needs to have its voice heard, right? And kind of noting my earlier point about human impact, and I hate to use the term unsung heroes, but certainly over the last couple of years, P2P teams have been, the function has been, the unsung hero in maintaining the status quo for companies. So it's absolutely right that we recognize the teams for their achievements within organizations, but also raise awareness outside of their organizations as to exactly what it is that P2P teams are doing to keep to maintain everything that we really take for granted, right? And I was on a panel recently where there was we were talking about kind of disruption in P2P space and supply chain, and someone said, well, P2P and supply chain, it's pretty easy. It's just the right product in the right place and the right time for the right price. And I remember thinking at that point, you're clearly not from a P2P background, right? Because
if only it was that simple. Yeah,
if it was that simple. So with that, I think it's absolutely right that we have this environment and platform to recognise their achievements, and we're just really thrilled to be able to present an award to Team of the Year at the summit.
And we're really grateful that we've got that support from people like you who understand the process and what it actually takes to be an exemplary procure to pay team. Because as you say, it certainly isn't straightforward. And the more that we sort of go through the advances that we're doing at the moment, in some ways that becomes even more complex, and the way that it ties into the rest of the business certainly does, and to be able to maintain those levels of visibility. And I'm really pleased to say that we've got some great nominations in already, but nominations close it's very soon, coming up on the 20th of May. So if anyone listening hasn't yet put their nomination in but is thinking about it, don't leave it too long, and get those nominations in, because I'm sure Will and I will be really pleased and interested to see what you're doing. Some fantastic nominations, as I said, and some of the achievements that you've made over the last year and going back a couple of years as well have been fantastic. So thanks very much, Will, for that overview today. And we're really pleased that you're going to be headlining the P2P Transformation Summit coming up soon on the 7th of June. And as you say, at the wonderful Hurlingham Club. So an event not to be missed. And if you haven't yet registered, go along over to p2pnetwork.org and you can register on there. And of course, make those nominations for your awards. See you all soon and see you there, Will.
Thank you
Thanks
very
very much.
much.
Okay, see you guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.